Hey everybody, it's Ryan. Welcome back to How Farms Work. So today we are going to be loading the calves out of the pole shed as well as the steer lot. So last night I went through and the steers were up in the barnyard. We left the gate open for a few days to let them get used to coming up in here and just kind of relax. So it's one of their new favorite spots to hang out. And last night I went through and closed the gate on them so they're locked up in here. So the steers are rather excitable because they don't really get handled much. Even the calves in the pole shed, we don't get in there very often with them. But there are a couple that come up to us and lick us when we're feeding in the bunk. So a few days ago we went through and we cleaned out the barn and the pole shed to try to clean it up and just get some of that manure out there, because you really don't want to haul manure or haul calves when the manure is like 6 inches deep, because the calves get excited, they start running, they could fall and hurt themselves, they could slip and sling a bunch of manure into your face, or you could slip and fall and get hurt. If a calf comes charging at you, you want to be able to move relatively quick and not slip. So we went through and cleaned everything out, but unfortunately yesterday it came through and rained on everything, so it is rather wet, even though there's just a thin layer of manure in the pole shed out where we're going to be sorting calves, because they like to hang out down in the corner and where the gate is. But hopefully it shouldn't be too bad sorting them off. Travis and Dad are bringing the truck and the trailer over right now, so we're waiting for them to show up. If I have to recommend one thing for you guys, get one of these if you handle cattle at all. We never really thought they'd have much use, but we got them from US Whip just as gifts, and this thing has been one of the most useful things that we've had to sort cattle with. We used to have just regular whips. You don't really want to hurt the cattle at all, even with a whip. It's just to tap on their butts to let them know that you're there and try to push them, because they are prey animals. So the benefits of this thing is that when you shake it, it makes a rattling noise, which does tend to scare them a little bit, and it gets them up and moving. And it's definitely a useful thing to have. So if you're looking for one of these, I'm sure US Whip has them on their website. Just go check them out. Oh boy. No hesitation. Everything's going. Come on, dude. Come on. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, get it there. Come on. Come on, guys. Let the rest of them out below the pole shed. Just do a second load. Mine in the front. Or not. You probably call that good. Come on. Come on. Over here. Chains to put on it. Bring it around the water. Let me go up and grab the chains off the yeah. They just blew the tread off one of the trailer tires, so thankfully we have a spare from the flatbed sitting at the main farm. They're gonna swap it out and we're gonna get back to loading steers up. That's it. Come on, get up there. Once they come back, we're going to start loading up the steers that were out on pasture this summer. Someone asked me, you know, we're selling cattle today or tomorrow, and why did I purchase cattle this spring? The cattle that I purchased this spring were bred heifers. So I'm gonna keep those. I'm gonna leave them out on pasture. I'm gonna breed them. They'll have calves every spring, and then I'll keep the calves for about a year or so, until they're roughly 500 to 750 pounds, and then sell them off. And that's one way to make money off cattle. So these guys are going up for auction. They're not for sure going to the slaughterhouse. I really doubt that they are. They're probably going to be going to someone else's farm to be finished out, which is about 1,200 pounds. And these guys aren't, for the most part, anywhere over 1,000, I don't think. Come back. Oh! Sort out the beef steers and my heifers, so we're gonna do this up in the pole shed. I just kind of quick cleaned out the lot, took the bunks out, so those obstacles are gone. That way we can have them in a tighter confined space, because when they're out on pasture or out in the steer lot for as long as they've been, usually they don't want anything to do with us, so they get pretty wild. So we just want everybody to be nice and calm, and by having a nice wooden fence just in case things go south, and they always go south. is really nice to have. Quick. Not too bad. Good. We got all the steers sold and everything went off without a hitch. I sold 4 cattle total, 3 steers and 1 heifer, and surprisingly enough, the heifer went for about $1.12 per pound, which was significantly lower than the other ones. Now, I like to sell in pairs because what will typically happen if you sell just one heifer, they'll run her through by herself, and I don't know if anything happened, like maybe she went crazy in the ring or something like that. But typically they'll go for a lower price than they will sell in pairs. So I like to sell them in pairs, but we only had sent 1 heifer, and her weight was 675 at 112 a pound, for a total of $756. I sold 3 steers. One was a larger one. His weight was 740, and he sold for $1.25 a pound for $925. And the other 2 steers averaged $675, and their total price was $141 for a total of $1903, which I think is pretty good. So that's everything for my sales ticket. Total, I made about $3,400. I'm looking at going out and purchasing or renting a bull here, because I need to get my cattle bred again for next year, and not totally sure what that's going to cost. I mean, buying one can run me anywhere between like $2,000 to $3,000, depending on how high of genetics or how good of genetics you want to go for. Otherwise, I probably would have kept one of my bulls if I could, because I didn't have any bulls this year. I had castrated them all, and I would have kept one back and then just sold the mother, culled her out. But everything went pretty good here. The Holsteins, unfortunately, didn't sell quite as well, but that's expected with Holsteins. Dads, I know, sold for anywhere between like $120 and $140 a pound, whereas the Holsteins that he sold were anywhere between 60 and 80 cents a pound. So I like, to me, anything over $1 is good, and Holsteins just don't sell as well. And we would have liked to raise them up a little bit bigger, but unfortunately, our corn situation, we just kind of wanted to sell everything. Clear house, and then that way we can start getting to work on cleaning out the corn silo, because like I mentioned in the previous video, we got to clean the corn out that's in it. So every now and then I'm going to start doing something where I'm going to share one of your guys' videos at the end of my videos. And I found a video on Twitter by someone by the name of Lance Wise from Australia, and he's using something called Weed Seeker by Trimble, which is essentially a smart spraying system that identifies weeds as you drive over them, and it applies the spray directly on the weed. Now, that should save you on spray. I've heard several reviews on the Weed Seeker, and people have had mixed results on it, but it's not exactly a new technology. Essentially what it does is it uses cameras to identify weeds that are out in the field, and it applies a precise amount of spray on those weeds. Now, some of the downsides with that is that you can't use it in season. So everything has to be not yet grown up, and as you're going over the field, you're not going to have any residual. So if you were hoping to put something down that would keep the weeds from coming up, what this would do is basically just be applied on anything that has grown up. So that's a video by Lance Wise. Go check it out on Twitter. We also have it on Facebook if you're interested in following us on there. I shared it on Snapchat and Instagram as well. With that, that's today's user video. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other ones. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.